Welcome back, Overlord fans. In this video, we're diving deep into Overlord Season 2, where the stakes are higher, the battles more intense, and the world-building even richer. Whether you're here to refresh your memory or catch up before watching the next season, we've got you covered with every major event and plot twist from Season 2. If you missed our Season 1 recap, don't worry. You can find the link in the video description below. Now, let's jump right into the action. In the Slain Theocracy, the captain of the Black Scripture and Zeishi Zetsume discuss the mystery of Ainz Ooal Gown for his growing celebrity as a magic caster, and a recent vampire attack which killed 2 scripture members and severely wounded Lady Carey. Zeishi expresses intrigue in Ainz, as she seeks a man capable of defeating her so as to sire for her a more powerful child. Meanwhile, in another location, former adventurer Rigreet of the original 13 Heroes and the Platinum Dragonlord discuss the possibility that a dark and powerful player from YG Yggdrasil may have arrived to this new world. In the Re-Estize capital, Gazef Stronov is with the king as the nobles of the kingdom decide to bring the annual war to Baharuth. After a brief visit by Princess Renner and her squire Climb, the king asks Gazef to request a meeting with Ainz Ooal Gown to show his gratitude for saving Gazef. After Ainz finishes a job as Momon, he returns to Nazarick to give a debriefing to Albedo of what he has learned in relation to the notable nation-states in the known world, in proximity of Nazarick's position on the map. Meanwhile, Shaltir drinks herself into a stupor, while Eclair, Sebas's assistant butler, fails at trying to cheer her up. Cocytus is sent to start a war with the Lizardmen and claim the Fallen for a later army of undead. In the village of the Lizardmen, Greenclaw tribe chieftain Shasryu discuss daily life with his younger brother Zaryusu when a monstrous entity comes from the clouds. The dark entity which descends from the sky is a herald forewarning the Lizardmen of the Greenclaw tribe of an invasion in 8 days' time. Zaryusu advises an alliance with the other Lizardmen tribes: Smallfang, Razortail, Dragon Tusk, and Red Eye. Zaryusu is permitted by his brother the chieftain to be the envoy to seek an alliance with the other tribes. Reaching the Red Eye tribe, Zaryusu meets Crush Lulu, the interim chief, priestess of the village. Enamored by her, he instinctively lets out a mating cry desiring to marry her. I just died of your arms tonight. After an awkward start, the two discuss an alliance and reach a consensus. Planning to build an alliance, Zaryusu and Krush arrive in the Dragon Tusk village and meet the chieftain Zenburu Gugu, who also received the herald's message, but will only join the alliance if Zaryusu can prove his worth in combat. Back in Nazarick, Demiurge talks with Eclair, and it is revealed both are aware of Eclair's hidden agenda to usurp Nazarick's throne, as that was his design by Ankoro Mochi Mochi. As a decoy replica of Nazarick is under construction, Cocytus is informed by his subordinates of Demiurge's scroll mission and the need to report regularly. Cocytus readies his army for the coming war in a few days. Zenburu fights Zaryusu, and they wager the role of chief and Crush for a mate. Zaryusu realizes his physical strength is less than Zanburu, but uses his Frost Pain, a magic item, to freeze Zenburu with each attack, causing Zenburu to yield, realizing he cannot keep fighting an item, which will kill him as he fights. The group parties to discuss the alliance, and Dragon Tusk joins in. Heading to the Razortail tribe, the first attack site of the herald's message, Shasryu greets the trio. Cocytus views on a crystal monitor their gathering and orders the attack. The Lizardmen put up a moderate resistance until the 5 chiefs use their magic caster abilities to quickly summon swamp elementals. Cocytus messages Demiurge for insight, the latter informing him to think for himself as to how to ration and deploy troops against the Lizardmen, as it may be the undisclosed wish of Lord Ainz. Cocytus orders an elder Lich caster commander into the fight, tearing down resistance with relative ease. Seeing their chance to enter the fight, Zaryusu sacrifices his steed, the Hydra snake Rororo, to get in close to the Lich to fight alongside Crush and Zenbaru, who are later rendered incapacitated, leaving Zaryusu to muster what strength he has left to trap himself and the Lich commander in a massive ice cage. After much pain and many attacks, Zaryusu is victorious by surprise, attacking the Lich in a fog and driving his frost pain into the former's brain. With the Lizardmen victorious in the battle, Cocytus must answer to Ainz. The Lizardmen celebrate victory. Zaryusu and Crush are alone in a tent blushing when Zenbaru barges in, wondering if they're having fun, much to their shock.
Yeah, boy.
Back in Nazarick, Ainz introduces 8th floor guardian Victim to the others, to prepare for unforeseen encounters. Demiurge was successful in making higher quality scrolls using sheep beastmen. Lastly, as Cocytus was defeated, Ainz explains he gave Cocytus a weak army so he would learn to adapt and reapply resources as a leader. As all of Cocytus's forces were low-tier undead, there was no risk for Nazarick. But Cocytus must face punishment. He is to eradicate the Lizardmen. Cocytus instead asks the Lizardmen be spared into servitude of Nazarick. When Ainz asks why, Demiurge steps in, proposing it could benefit them to see how governing a new people under Nazarick would work, as they may have to again in the future, and starting now would help prepare them. Ainz agrees, but demands Cocytus rule them by means without fear. Ainz only wanted to hear Cocytus's free opinion, demanding his guardians think over their orders so as to bring greater benefit to Nazarick. The next day, the guardians and Ainz himself return to the battlefield in a grand show of force. Freezing the lake, Gargantua throws a massive stone in the center of the lake, and the undead perform a royal procession for Ainz to sit atop and speak before the Lizardmen. When the Shasha brothers act as representatives, Demiurge uses controller magic to have them bow properly before Ainz's decree. Cocytus will arrive in 4 hours' time to fight them on his own, and if they win, they're forever free of Nazarick. The 5 tribe leaders discuss sending only themselves, with Crush to stay behind and lead. As she argues against this, the tribe leaders leave Zaryusu to talk with her. They both accept that there will be death, and Crush demands Zaryusu impregnate her to preserve their love. The Lizardmen champions, the Shasha brothers, Zenbaru, with Kyukuzuzu and Tsukujuju, prepare for battle with Cocytus. During this preparation, Ainz and his guardians enter a temporary base of operations. Upon seeing a makeshift throne for himself by his guardians, he opts to use Shaltir as a chair as her due punishment. This enrages Albedo. While observing the Lizardmen, the mirror of remote viewing stumbles on Zaryusu and Crush having sex. The Lizardmen champions stand ready, and Cocytus arrives to do battle equipped in his floor guardian gear. Many Lizardmen die, leaving only the Shasha brothers. Cocytus asks for their names and grants them the honor of death by his god-slaying Emperor Blade. Repeating the fog and surprise attack maneuver, they are easily countered, and Shasryu is killed. Later, Ainz congratulates Cocytus for his victory and summons Crush over for a deal, report and monitor her people for any signs of rebellion, and Ainz will revive Zaryusu. Crush agrees, and Ainz resurrects Zaryusu among the villagers, who now worship him a god. After pledging their fidelity, Zaryusu asks for his brother and Zenbaru be returned as well, and Ainz takes it into consideration, having the Lizardmen keep their bodies safeguarded. While still in the Riastize capital, Sabas goes to the Magician's Guild to purchase a spell scroll, and on his way back to the mansion stumbles upon a brutalized young woman. After remembering the words of his creator, "Player, touch me," he decides to take her to safety. The man who threw her away begs Sebas not to, as he will be killed by the Eight Fingers crime syndicate for allowing an asset to be taken. Sebas gives the man money to flee town as a response. Upon his return, Solution is taken aback by Sebas's care for the young girl and having Solution heal her of injury. Waking up, she is fed, and revealing her name is Tuare. Sebas orders Solution not inform Lord Ainz, stating it is not worth his time knowing about a meager human girl. Meanwhile, Gazef has breakfast with Brain Unglaus, who is in a depressive state following his encounter with Shaltir. Out in a secluded region, adamantite adventurer Team Blue Rose destroys an illegal crop used in the production of a powerful narcotic called black dust. While scouting, Blue Rose member Evil Eye finds a parchment with code which can lead them to the leaders of Eight Fingers. At the same time, Zero, head of Eight Fingers Security, promises Coco Doll, head of the slave department, that his men will return the girl to their possession. As Ainz reviews the New World finances, he finds it difficult to manage funds for the Lizardmen budget and the undercover Nazarick agents. Narbaral, as Nabi, comes to Ainz in regards to the various ore samples he had bought to do an appraisal experiment on the exchange box to see which ore from where yields the most gold. Elsewhere, Climb is given a sparring session by Gazef, who informs Climb of Ainz Ooal Gown, having saved his life. After the spar, Gazef notes to his vice chief that Climb's power cannot go past that of a gold-ranked adventurer, and his efforts will not change that, but he can still learn from experience. Meeting with Princess Renner, Climb is introduced to Blue Rose's leader Lacius Alvin Dale Aindra, along with one of Blue Rose's twin assassins, Tina. Under Renner's guidance, they learn the code they discovered at the Black Dust Crop is really a list of locations of importance to Eight Fingers in the capital city. One location not listed is an underground brothel in the capital, and Blue Roses brings Climb to investigate alongside them. Meanwhile, Sebas has Toire serve as the maid of the manor he and Solution are using as cover to better sell that identity, but are later found by Succulent and Constable Staffan Havish. The two ask for compensation for Sebas's purchasing Toire despite the anti-slave laws, so as to be pardoned for his crime. Permitting Sebas 2 days to think over their proposal, the two take their leave. Afterwards, Solution messages Ainz to inform him Sebas may have been compromised. Climb heads to an inn where Gagarin and Evil Eye are having lunch and informs them that Lacius wants them to be ready to mobilize. As the conversation goes on, Evil Eye informs the both of them of the new adamantite team, Darkness, which is made up of the adventurers Momon and Nabe, leaving Gagarin astounded by their reported feats. Meanwhile, Brain Unglaus runs errands for Gazef and goes past a crowd watching a group of drunk men assaulting a boy. Climb also goes by the crowd and moves to stop the matter. Both see Sebas move with skill and speed to resolve the matter in one punch. They separately follow the butler into an alleyway, where Climb enthusiastically asks Sebas for a quick lesson in strength after witnessing him recently. Sebas sees Climb as trustworthy and gives him a lesson: how to overcome fear of death. By flooding Climb's sense with killing intent, Climb dodges at the last possible instance by overcoming his fear by thinking of Renner. Brain, having witnessed this around the corner, is moved by Climb's ability to overcome intense fear and asks to also learn from Sebas. However, the trio are beset by 5 assassins sent by Succulent, of which Sebas downs 3, for the last 2 to be handled by Brain and Climb. With their attackers downed, Sebas uses a skill to easily interrogate one of them on where to find Succulent and the 8 Fingers. The trio move together out of a grown respect for each other and move to destroy 8 Fingers in the capital of Riestes. Sebas, Brain, and Climb arrive at the brothel and use 2 entryways, the front door to the main brothel and the side entrance to the underground storage area. Sebas forewarns the duo that if needed, he will kill opposition inside if he is forced to, with the both of them understanding. They only ask that the 8 Fingers leaders Coco Doll and Succulent be captured. Sebas easily removes the steel door and knocks away the guards, and comes across Constable Staffan Havish mercilessly assaulting a slave girl for pleasure. Sebas slaps Staffan into a bloody state, and after the constable pleads for mercy with money, Sebas concludes he is unworthy of life and kicks him in half. Brain and Climb stop their opposition and locate a trap door leading to the underground storage. While Brain scouts further in having Climb stand watch, Doll and Succulent arrive by a hidden passage in front of the young warrior. Succulent uses his illusion magic to gravely injure Climb until Brain returns and defeats him with his god-slash technique. The trio are successful in apprehending 2 of the 8 fingers and return to their respective homes. Sebas returns to the manor, only for Solution to be in her Pleiades attire, telling him Ainz is in the next room waiting to speak with him. After Climb retires for the night, Renner calls in the maid she knows is spying on her to tell her about how amazing Climb was, only for her to actually plan on killing the maid for disrespecting Climb within her earshot. Late at night, Zero gathers the remaining members of Six Arms to kill Sebas, Climb, and Brain for opposing them. Ainz investigates Sebas's possible betrayal, with Demiurge, Victim, and Cositus as witnesses. He orders Sebas to kill Tuare to confirm his loyalty. Sebas does so, and having his attack blocked by Cositus, is proven to be a steadfast servant to Nazarick. After the real Ainz arrives, the Overlord hears Tuare's full name and realizes she is the sister of Ninya. Thus, he allows Sebas' request of having her as a provisional maid. In the royal palace, Renner and Blue Rose meet to discuss the raids on 8 fingers, but Marquis Raven and Prince Zanak arrive with a solution to the lack of manpower. After a mild topic of Renner's true persona and her feelings for Climb, she reveals she has damning intelligence on the royal and noble factions, and coerces Raven to lend his private army to the simultaneous raids of 8 fingers. He reluctantly agrees, and Zanak reveals their eldest brother Barbro has a hidden storehouse in trade with 8 fingers, which is now added to the map. After a long day, Sebas and Solution return to the manor to find Tuare missing and a note from Six Arms challenging Sebas for her freedom. Ainz, preoccupied as Momon elsewhere, relays to Albedo to send reinforcements. While initially hesitant to aid a human, she relents and sends the forces for Demiurge to command on-site to destroy 8 fingers. After Sebas departs to rescue Tuare from Six Arms, Demiurge lays out the plan for his Operation Gehenna to the Pleiades, Mare, and Shaltair. Meanwhile, in the royal encampment, Climb and Brain team up with former adventurer Lockmire to raid one of the known 8 Fingers bases. There they encounter Sebas, who was summoned to the same base as the trio to fight the Six Arms. When Sebas encounters 4 members of Six Arms, he takes a few seconds to kill them and the surrounding customers. Solution reports that Zero is not amongst the patrons. Elsewhere at Hilma's residence, she wakes up to find her home encased in shrubbery. Encountering Mare, he breaks her leg to drag her away, leaving Entoma to empty the manor. While Entoma is snacking on a human body part, Gagarin has a chance encounter with her and fights the bug maid thinking she is with 8 fingers. Blue Rose members Tia and Evil Eye arrive, and together they overpower and defeat Entoma. Before the finishing blow, the bug maid is rescued by Jaldabaoth and taken to safety. After Gagarin and Tia are killed by the demon's Hellfire Wall, an enraged Evil Eye charges at the demon, but is halted by the arrival of Momon. Evil Eye requests Momon's help to defeat Jaldabaoth, to which he obliges. Momon proves himself to be Jaldabaoth's equal while defending Evil Eye at the same time, which results in Evil Eye developing romantic feelings for Momon. Jaldabaoth eventually leaves the fight, claiming to search for an item within the city. Meanwhile, Brain, Climb, and Lockmire are escorting Tuare out when they encounter Zero, who challenges Brain to a fight. Together, Lockmire and Climb manage to beat Succulent disguised as Tuare, while Brain and Zero prove to be evenly matched. Sebas, after rescuing the real Tuare, wanders in and discovers the fight. He abandons his fight with Brain and unleashes his strongest attack on Sebas, who takes it without flinching and kills Zero with a single dropkick. A circle of fire created by Jaldabaoth emerges within the city and is seen by everyone. Princess Renner arranges for the adventurers and the soldiers to enter the ring and kill the demons present inside. Momon, Nabe, and Evilaye are to move into the center to fight Jaldabaoth. The Adventurer Coalition moves in to rescue the captured civilians in the residential sector, while the Royal Guards hold back a wave of demons until Momon, Nabe, and Evilai arrive. Brain notices a disguised Shaltir and challenges her in order to give his comrades time to escape. Brain manages to cut Shaltir's fingernail with fourfold slash of light and happily retreats while she is distracted. As he runs, Shaltir notices Clyme and Lockmire, leaving them behind after remembering the order Demiurge gave her. The three find a warehouse of civilians and are faced with the people pleading for their taken loved ones, confirming the princess's theory of family separation. As Momon, Nabe, and Evil Eye encounter Jaldabaoth, they see his 5 masked demon maids. While the female adventurers handle the maids, Momon battles Jaldabaoth. Lachius fights off wave after wave of demon hordes until Gazef arrives with the king's personal army. Elsewhere, Demiurge and Ainz speak in private in an abandoned building to discuss Demiurge's full plan. Lastly, all blame is to be laid on Jaldabaoth in order to boost Momon's fame. As Evelai fights, a hidden Narbaral calmly chats with 3 of her sisters. As Mare gives the earthquake signal, the maids return to their intended roles. Evelai regroups with Nabe, and Jaldabaoth is thrust into the scene by Momon. Jaldabaoth calls for a retreat, and the disturbance comes to an end. The adventurers and soldiers gather and hail Momon a hero of the kingdom. Elsewhere, Aura captures the remaining 8 Fingers leaders and makes them servants to Ainz Ooal Gown. In the Baharuth Empire, Fluter Paradine informs Emperor Jerkniv Runefarlord El Nix that while investigating Ainz Ooal Gown, he concludes the magic caster is greater than or equal to his level of magical power. While wishing to meet Ainz personally, Jerkniv orders Fluter to investigate adamantite adventurer Momon as well.